Good evening. This lecture בעזרת השם לרפואת מורי ניסים בן אתי אסתר, רפואה שלמה. Also להצלחה in upcoming court case of Edna Shoshani and להצלחת אביאלה בת שרה, לרפואת שנה דבורה אלישבע בת שרה, לעילוי נשמת אברהם בן אפרים and לרפואת דוד בן עליזה מלכה. Okay, now one announcement before we start. Thursday it's a fast day, Ta'anit Esther. It was supposed to be on Shabbat, so they made it on Thursday. But usually when we have Ta'anit Esther, the fast of Esther is finishing with the reading of the Megillah. Since it's not the correct time, so they made it earlier. The reading of the Megillah will be Saturday night. People finish the Arvit, they go home, they do Havdalah, and come back to read the Megillah. Or, you know, every place with his minagim. Sunday morning, it's Tfilah of Shachrit, Purim, and there is also Kriyat Megillah in Tfilat Shachrit. In Purim, it's mitzvah to do a Seudah, you have to do it in a day, daytime. Usually around 1, 2, 2:30 p.m. Better to pray mincha first and then do the Seudah, because we get drunk, people get drunk, and then they don't remember, they prayed, they didn't pray, they don't know what they did. You're not supposed to pray when you're drunk. There's big arguments about the term drunk. It's a very ugly word, drunk. The Chachamim say that a person has to drink litbasem, to feel great, because you know when you drink wine, it makes you happy. And the more the wine you drink, the more happy you become. But there's a red line. Once you get to a certain situation, you're starting to do bad things. And that's already become Chilul Hashem, which is the biggest sin from the Torah. So use your common sense. You come to do an important rabbinical mitzvah, and in the end, it will cause you to commit the worst sin from the Torah. You want to invest $1 to lose $1 million? Obviously, it's stupid, no? So you have to know when to hold yourself. Some people that drink, like I drink, I never get drunk. So I don't worry about it. I can drink wine, whiskey, I don't get drunk. My father also, Alav Shalom, was also like that. You never saw him do something stupid, even if in a wedding, in this, with friends, they drink, l'chaim. Some people, they drink 1 or 2 cups, they're starting to act like monkeys, jumping on chairs, on the table, saying stupid things, offending people. People like this should never touch alcohol, ever. That's one of the reasons that the Arabs, Muhammad told them you're not allowed to touch alcohol. With their temper, you give them a little alcohol. Without that, look what's going on in the world. Imagine now if they start drinking alcohol every day. Hashem Yerachem. It's dangerous. Alcohol is dangerous if you don't know, if you don't have discipline. So we have 1 day a year that we're allowed to drink extra. If you want to drink a little bit on Shabbat, no problem. Control. In weddings, no problem. Control. You can't control, you're not allowed to touch, not even a taste. Purim, mitzvah to get drunk, but not to get drunk, to vomit in the middle of the street like some teenagers do, ending up in a hospital with alcohol poisoning. That's a very, very big crime to end like that. Very big crime. You gotta be very, very careful. So if you know yourself that you have a bad record, stay away. Drink 1 or 2 cups of wine, it's enough. Don't worry, you don't go to hell for not getting drunk on Purim. But you will go to hell if you're going to do Chilul Hashem, for sure. So you use common sense. We make a meal with a motzi. In the day of Purim, we say Al Anisim, B'yemei Mordechai. So we say Al Anisim in Tfilat Shmona Esrei after Modim, and also in Birkat Hamazon. Also in Birkat Hamazon. If someone forgot, he doesn't repeat. Doesn't repeat the tefillah. on Purim is mitzvah to give money for the poor people. The more, the better. But there is always a minimum. What's the minimum? It's written, in the Megillah it's written, Mishloach manot ish lere'ehu, so that's in singular language, at least one meal from one individual to another. Mishloach manot it's in plural, so it has to be at least two different kinds of food. You can give wafers and bamba, I don't know, or pretzels. Also, you can give one kind of food and one drink. Little grape juice. Usually they give one wafer and this, that's it. You already fulfill your obligation. To one person, men to men, women to women. Not men to women and women to men. It's not modest. Men will give to men, women to women. Usually people like to give to people they love and appreciate and have gratitude to. Usually this is the way you always have to operate. Those who you owe them more, you have to give them more respect and more gratitude and more payback for those you owe. In this particular manner, it's the other way around. Better to give to someone that is not in good term with you, to break the ice, to make peace. You know, someone you already love and he loves you, with or without your mishloach manot, you'll still be okay. So for one, minimum 2 kinds of food to one individual, make sure that individual is someone that make brachot on the food, because there's a big question if you're allowed to give food to a Jew that doesn't make brachot on the food. And according to some poskim, it's not a mitzvah b'chlal. To give someone that doesn't make bracha food, could be chas v'shalom avera, לפני עיוור לא תיתן מכשול. או מסייע לידי עוברי עבירה, which is איסור דרבנן. So to get out of the doubt, make sure that your mishloach manot go to a kosher person. Now, if you want to give to 20 different people, you're allowed. The more, the better. But the minimum to one person and 2 kinds of food. One more recommendation based on experience. Usually people like to cook in a house or to bake cakes, all kinds of things, and to give it to people. Not everybody count on your kashrut, with all due respect to your yarmulke and your beard. People are afraid. Someone gives them, but they don't know what they do in the kitchen, how much halachot they know. Did they check the flour from worms? There's all kinds of issues. From experience, better to get something from the store that has a kosher certificate on it. And a good one. Like this, no doubt, nobody is afraid to eat. You give someone a bowl of rice, and they begin to think, you know, where is this rice from? This one, I don't know what, did he cook it in chalavi, besari, is it dairy, it's not dairy, a lot of questions. Give them something, I don't know, bag of pretzel, you see the hashgacha, finished. Bamba, you see the hashgacha, but that's finished. One more thing. Matanot laevyonim has to be at least 2 people. Evyonim, it's plural. It doesn't say matana laevyon. Matana laevyon mean 1. Matanot laevyonim, gifts to the poor, it's in plural. So it has to be minimum 2. Also men to men, women to women. It has to be done on a day of Purim, which is this coming Sunday. It can be done through Zelle, Venmo, something that is instant, that a person can grab the money right away if you want. It can be done through a messenger. Every year people ask me, do you give matanot laevyonim? The answer is yes. I have a list of evyonim, unfortunately, all the way from here to Manhattan. You see how many messages I get from people? You read my text messages and emails. People don't have what to eat. Someone yesterday told me he cannot afford 1 slice of pizza. I asked him how much a pizza costs. He told me $3. I said, pizza? I cannot afford? He said, no, cannot afford a slice of pizza. This is the world we live in. Some people cannot afford even a bottle of water. So there are people like this. Now, when you give matanot laevyonim, there is also preferences. Someone that is a Talmid Chacham, who sits and learns Torah all day, comes before everyone. Even before your relatives, before your Aniyei Ircha, before your friends, before your neighbors, for anyone you know. Someone who sits and learns Torah revives the world, give the world existence. They are the most important people in the world. Whenever in your life, get it to your head, whenever you see someone that is a Talmid Yeshiva, whether he's single, whether he's married, for you, you have to look at him like he's almost a god. You cannot look at any human being like a god that's become Avodah Zarah, but almost. I'm talking about the amount of respect you have to give to...
If somebody is a Vion.
Huh?
How do you determine if somebody is a Vion?
Not everybody knows who is an Evion, because the Evionim are now walking with a flag, like the abomination people, to show their mental disease to the world. The Evionim are hiding it. Who do they come to? To rabbis. The rabbi of the shul, to someone that they can trust, that they will keep it secret. So they're not running, hey, I'm poor, can anyone help me? Usually it doesn't happen. So if you have anyone you trust, you know is going to give it on the day of Purim, you can give over there. I gave a few people a zeal of few poor people, you can send them directly. But the problem is that not all poor people want to be exposed. Some poor people don't want that their telephone number or their email will be exposed to the world. They're very sensitive about it. So what do? For me, they're not embarrassed. After all, they come to me for help. I get whatever people send, I write it down, I have the full amount, and I divide it to people and give it to them. Usually, almost all the poor people I give to are Bnei Torah, people that sit and learn. I always prefer to help those who learn Torah before other people. Where is my source? There's hundreds of sources. There's literally hundreds of sources. I give you one. In the Gemara it says that the rabbi he had a fund of charity that he was giving money to the people. Everyone that came, poor people, hungry people came to the rabbi for food. So he asked him, what did you learn today? Told him, I learned Gemara, I learned Mishnah, I learned this, I learned that, I learned Halachot. So everyone who say, I learned, he gave him food. Then one person says, I didn't learn today, so I cannot give you. Say to him, why? Because I didn't learn, you cannot give me? Say, no, I cannot give you. I only give to people that learn Torah. So what did he say to him? Give me like I'm a raven or a cat. Parneseni, ככלב וכעורב. Give me like a food, like a dog. If you see a dog walking here and he's hungry, you wouldn't give him something to eat? If you see a raven looking for food, crowing everywhere, you wouldn't give him something to eat? You give him. Think I'm a dog. Give me like you give to a dog. Why? I'm hungry. Why do you have such a Gemara? Why the Chachamim put such a story in the Gemara? To show you that technically, of course no one does it today, don't jump to conclusion. Technically, people that don't learn Torah don't deserve to get food. Of course, if someone will come to you and say, I'm hungry, well, even if he's a non-Jew, you give him. I don't know you, I don't know who you are, you tell me you're hungry, I'll give you food. Even the Gemara say, you have to give even to non-Jews. Man, your brothers, you have obligation to revive them. But even come a stranger on the street, nothing, he's not Jewish, not religious, not nothing. Could be an idol worshipper even, don't know. So I'm hungry, you give him, נותנים לו מפני דרכי שלום. To multiply the peace in the world, not to create tension. But from the Gemara we understand that literally if there was really 100% justice in this world and people will use only their brain, not their heart, someone who does not learn Torah doesn't deserve to get food today. Go figure. You know, I mean, people give millions to all kinds of causes, and in the end they'll find out there was a sin, not a mitzvah. What did you do? I gave $3 million charity this year. Where did you give? To the Reform Shul. Big crime. To the conservative. Big crime. To those cult of idol worshippers. Big crime. To this family of Mechalelei Shabbat. It's also a sin. I help people. My friend doesn't have a car. I gave him my car. But he drives it on Shabbat. It's a sin. He'll be punished for it. I wanted to help a friend. He wanted to move his apartment. But he's not religious. I'm religious. The only day I can give him my car is on Shabbat when I don't use it. Not allowed. He'll be punished for it. Someone wants to go on a trip. Even your own son. Say, Abba, I need money. Why? I'm going with my friends tomorrow to the mountains. You know he's going to drive on Shabbat. Your son is not religious. He needs money for gas and for tolls, I don't know, for whatever he needs for the trip. You give him money, you become a partner to his crime. That is driving on Shabbat. If you give him monthly allowance, you don't tell him what to use it for. Then he chooses to use it for whatever he wants. He doesn't give you a report. So you don't have a crime in it. But if you give him for the particular trip that you know he's taking on Shabbat, you become a partner to the crime. So that was the introduction. Also there's mitzvah of machatzit shekel for those who didn't do it yet. Before they read the Megillah, you're going to see in a synagogue boxes with money, with coins. You take 5 coins, you take it, you put money. It's like you bought the coins, you put some money. You can put $20 a person. If you have a large family, $10 a person. It's zecher lemachatzit shekel. You don't say machatzit shekel. Because there's no obligation of machatzit shekel. There's no Bet Mikdash today. You say zecher, memory, to the mitzvah of machatzit shekel. Memory. Zecher lemachatzit shekel, you put the donation in a box, finished. You can also say, you can also send money, zecher lemachatzit shekel, also, and we give it to the poor. Also possible. Since it's zecher, it's only a memory. It's not the actual mitzvah of the coin of machatzit shekel. So, remember, 2 times reading of the Megillah, Motzei Shabbos, Saturday night, follow the schedule of your shul, and Sunday morning, mitzvah of Seudat Purim, to eat meat. If you don't like meat, at least chicken. If you don't like chicken and meat, do a nice fish. Respectable meal with bread. And drink a lot of wine. Only if you don't get too drunk and start doing stupid things. If you already have a record that you embarrass your family and your wife in public when you drink, or you end up in a hospital, then you better don't drink at all, or drink very little, just, you know, okay. Also, there's a question if you're allowed to get drunk from whiskey or cognac, or it has to be wine. There's a question in a poskim. Some say it has to be wine, some say it can be also other alcohol. I have a rule, when there is a disagreement on something, some say yes, some say no, always better to go to the strict. Since it's not really a big deal. You have wine. So today you won't drink whiskey. Today you'll get drunk from the wine. The other time you can drink on Shabbat, holidays, but if now, according to all opinion, if you drink wine, according to all opinion, you did it in the best way. If you drink whiskey, according to some, it's good. According to some, it's not good. I think I covered more or less everything. Purim is a very special day. You know, the Torah, Hashem called Yom HaKippurim, the atonement day. The atonement day, Hashem called it Kippurim. Yom HaKippurim. Kippurim sounds like Kepurim. It's like Purim. Meaning, Purim is such an important day. Purim is such an important day that Yom Kippur is almost as great as Purim. Why there is, what's the significance of, Benji, can you explain to them? They all look at it, they don't know what's going on. I want them to listen to me, not to, you know. Okay, now they got the point, fine. Okay, so the Purim, some of the Gdolei Israel, the Ari HaKadosh and others says that whatever you pray with your heart on the day of Purim, Hashem will give you. That's how great is this day. Remember, the entire holiday is rabbinical, just like Hanukkah, it's Chag Purim. The story of Purim. And that brings us to tonight's topic. Last night in Queens, I spoke 3 hours almost. That was part 1 of the lecture of Purim. Now today we're going to do part 2, and tomorrow I have another lecture in Queens. We're going to do part 3. So what you have to do, you have to listen, better to listen to the one from last night. You have it on the app, on a repeat. And you also have it on my YouTube page. You always have live. You click on live, you see last night's lecture is still there. So you can, even before we post the lecture online on the YouTube, you have it from the live broadcast. So if you don't want to wait until we post it, just click on live and watch it. You can watch already tonight, later, or tomorrow morning. You can watch last night's lecture, and then you watch this lecture. You know what I mean? Not you, the people that are listening online. It doesn't matter. Even if you listen in the opposite order, you still get the point. All right? So let's move on. So yesterday I finished, last night lecture, I finished with the story of Achashverosh made a party. Vashti made a party for the women. The goyim, when they drink, you know, when a person drink, he's inside exposed out. If he's someone that is a big Talmid Chacham, he knows a lot of Torah, the more he will get drunk, the more unbelievable Torah will come out. If it's some kind of a low life, the more he drink, the more violence and curse and garbage and all kinds of not modest things going to come out of his mouth. Why? This is an opportunity to see the secrets of that person. You want to know who the person is? Let him drink a little bit, see what comes out of his mouth. Is he going to talk nice divrei Torah, all kinds of spiritual things? Even though it looks silly a little bit by the way he talks and by the way he moves, but see what comes out of his mouth. That's the inside of him that usually he doesn't expose to the world. He's free now. If it's someone that cares and speak all kinds of bad things and who knows what else, when you let him drink, you see what happens. Knock on table, looking for people to fight, can even shoot someone. Why? Because this is who he is. This is the inside of the person. I remember 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago, my rabbi in yeshiva is a big tzaddik Yesod Olam, Rav Rafael Rosenman, still in Monsey today, still teaching, same devotion to Torah. He has nothing in his life besides Torah. Torah is his whole world. Even when he walked on the street, he used to walk with Walkman. You know why? Because he doesn't have a car, so he walked with a bag full of books. And it takes him 20 minutes to go from one, he teach half a day here and half a day somewhere else. While he's walking, he has 20 minutes walk. He listens to divrei Torah, not to waste time. So on Purim, we came to give him mishloach manot. We were a few students. By now, he was already drinking a lot. He was like this on his chair. His son-in-law was there, another Talmid Chacham. We walked into his house. You know, Sfaradim, when they see Chacham, what do? They kiss his hand. That's the custom of the Sfaradim. So all the Sfaradim come, they kiss his hand. Now, usually, he's such a shy man. You'll never see him talking or bragging or anything like this. Like we say in Hebrew, מתבייש מהצל של עצמו. He's embarrassed from his own shadow. That's usually how he is. But you know, when he was probably after 2-3 bottles of wine by now, the inside of him was exposed fully. So he said to his son-in-law, I love these Faradim. Look how they respect Chachamim. They all come, they kiss their hands. So he said, now it's your chance. You will tell me any verse you want from the Tanakh, from 24 books of the Tanakh. Any verse you want, and I will give you, Be'ezrat Hashem, 2-hour speech on that pasuk. Like this. Then we had one wise guy with us. A serious wise guy. I don't know where he got that pasuk from. I never heard it before and never heard it after. Some pasuk that nobody ever focused on. I don't know where he got it from. He told him some pasuk from one of the prophets' book, and he started to talk and talk and talk and talk. It doesn't like an ocean. This is when you have a chacham. Let him drink a little bit. An explosion of the Niagara Falls, instead of water, Torah comes out. You come to someone else, and עם הארץ, לשון הרע, gossip, curses, violent, yelling, screaming, what are you looking at? I'm about to chop your head off. This is who he is, and this is who he is. So when the wine comes in, you begin to see who the person is. Now when Achashverosh and all the other goyim over there, the ministers, they drink, what comes out? Their desire to women. It's being exposed now. Usually when they're not drunk, they will hide it. But now when they're drunk, there's no boundaries. So they started to argue which women are prettier. The Persians, the one from Madai, the one from Bavel. There are different countries. Every minister has different roots. Everybody tried to say that the women in this place are prettier. And they had an idea. Let me prove to you who my wife is, Achashverosh said. Vashti, the queen, the granddaughter of Nebuchadnezzar from Bavel, the one who destroyed the first temple. She was a very, very pretty, supposedly the prettiest in the whole world. So Achashverosh wants to brag to all his drunk friends, while he himself is drunk. Call Vashti to come. Now he wants Vashti to come expose herself. But Hashem gave her leprosy, tzarat. Mida keneged mida, measure for torturing the Jewish girls, making them work and force them to dress not modest. So the same thing Hashem did to her. Now she's ordered to come, like a fashion show, but she has rash in all over her skin. So she can't. It's going to be a big embarrassment for her. So she refused to come. And Haman right away took advantage. King, your majesty, you have to execute her. I'm sorry, it's your wife. I know you love her, but you cannot tolerate such behavior. All the women now in the 127 countries that you're in charge of, they will all disrespect their husband. Remember, there was no feminism yet. Nobody ever thought about such an idea, that a woman will control the man and the world and become the president of Germany. There was no such thing. So they all got shocked. What, the king asked her to come and she refused to come? How can it be? She must die! But Achashverosh knew that the Jewish scholars are more merciful. They don't rush to kill. Why Haman wants Vashti dead? Why? Because he wants his daughter to become the wife of the king Achashverosh. That's the whole idea. He wants to grab the kingdom. If his daughter will marry King Achashverosh, then she will have a child. Once he dies, Haman has enough money to gain power for his grandson, to make him the king of 127 countries. It's all politics, just like today. So Haman is telling him, you must kill her, you must kill her. You cannot forgive such thing. He comes to the rabbis. The rabbis, in a Megillah, it's called Yodei Haitim, who knows how to calculate times. What does it mean? Rosh Chodesh, leap year. Chachamim with the moon, with the cycle of the moon, they know Hashem gave us this wisdom in Mount Sinai, how to know when to push another month to the calendar, like this year, Adar Bet, to know that Passover will not be too early, it will not be too cold, it has to be on the spring. Hashem gave Moses, a lot of secrets, how to control the calendar and how certain days will never fall on specific days of the week. It's brilliant, the calendar. It's brilliant. It's unbelievable. If you learn the secrets of the calendar, you get the shock of your life. That people actually controlled it and wrote the calendar. Hillel, the grandson of Hillel, wrote the calendar. But before the calendar, everything was done every month manually. So he came to the rabbis, Yodea Itim, and the rabbi said, whatever we're going to tell him, we're going to suffer for it. If we tell him, kill Vashti, tomorrow he will wake up, he's not drunk. Where is Vashti? The rabbis told you to execute your lovely wife. They didn't even check why she didn't show up. What do you mean she checked? What, they're supposed to check the skin condition of her? So whatever they're going to say, they're going to blame the Jews. If they say leave her alive, they will also blame the Jews. See, all the women now in Persia disrespect their husband because of the advice the rabbis gave you. You know, one of these things, whatever you say, one person came to Rabbi Uri Zohar, alav shalom. He's the biggest Baal Tshuva of our generation, in the whole world, the biggest. What he was and what he became, literally, it's from the bottom of the bottom to the top of all tops. Perfect Tshuva he made, perfect, in everything. So they came to him and said to him, I know that my friend is cheating on her husband with another man. Do I have an obligation to go tell the husband or no? Rav Uri Zohar was smart. He knew whatever you answer, it's going to be bad. Someone is going to come to kill you from the wife's side, from the husband's side. He came to one very big gadol. I think it was Rav Eliashiv maybe. So Rav Uri Zohar's reaction, why are you asking me? From all the people in the world, you chose me to ask such a question. Meaning, no matter what I answer you, I have a problem with Hashem. If I tell you be quiet, Hashem is going to blame me. Hey, what do you mean be quiet? She's forbidden to her husband. If I say go and say, why did you rush to break a house? It's one of these things. What's the answer? I'm not telling you. Why should I get into trouble? What's the answer? Who knows? Depend if he will believe you or not. If he would live in denial, better not to tell him. Why? Because now every second it will be an intentional sin. He's not allowed to touch his wife from this moment on. His marriage is over. If he continued to be intimate with his wife, which is no longer available to him, continue to do it, became worse actually. So Rabotai, now Vashti refused to come. The Chachamim don't know what to do. They had a great idea. The Chachamim told Achashverosh, we are unable to answer your question, if to kill Vashti or not. Since the destruction of the temple, which temple? The first one. There was no second temple yet. Since the destruction of the temple, Hashem forbid us for judging cases of life and death, because we don't have Sanhedrin. You need Sanhedrin sitting in a Lishkat HaGazit in Bet HaMikdash. Since the house of the Supreme Court of the Rabbinical Court was destroyed, we have no permission to answer questions on life and death. That's how they got away with him. Because they knew whatever they tell him, it's going to turn against the Jews, as usual, as always. So that's where we left last night. So now, Rabotai, Haman pushed to get rid of Vashti. They got rid of Vashti. Now they're going on a hunt to look for a pretty replacement. They go around, they check women, they bring them, interview, this whole 9 yards, and they saw Esther. Esther, the Jewish girl, which is not such a girl anymore. She was already older. They bring Esther. Mordechai is her uncle. Mordechai is a member in the Sanhedrin. It's a big chacham. Esther, it's his nephew. He actually raised her. She has no parents. She's an orphan. Mordechai raised her. Niece. What did I say? No, niece is a female. Yeah, niece. She's a niece of Mordechai. Mordechai is her uncle, and they bring her. Now, Esther, remember, Esther is not pretty like the goyot that they found. She has a special chen on her. Some kind of a spiritual appeal that people see her, they are very impressed. Some people, they're not necessarily good looking in the term of pretty face, but they have, I don't know, charisma or the chen of Hashem on them, like a spell of God on them, that no matter where they go, they become the highlight of the place. So she is like that. The Gemara says she's yerakroket, she's not even pretty, she's on the green side, pale, yellow, whatever that means. But everyone who sees her is very impressed, I guess because she's so modest and so righteous. So they bring Esther, Achashverosh, from all the women. Who does he like? Esther. Who's behind the scene here? What's going on here? The Gemara say the salvation, if you can put your finger in the moment that the salvation of the Jewish people officially began. The story of the Megillah is 9 years. From the beginning, Vayi b'mei Achashverosh, until the last pasuk of the Megillah, 9 years. We read it in 40 minutes, but it's 9 years. Through the Megillah, if you have to put your finger on a word or in a verse in the Megillah, that's when everything turned around. Meaning now there is a decree, there's a final solution, there is a Hitler, Imach Shimon named Haman, is Amalek, Haman Agagi, come from the family of Agag, the king of Amalek. So now there is a decree to destroy all Jews in the next month of Adar. But where you can put the finger, when is the moment that things started to change to the positive side? When? Who knows? You may think first Haman make the decree. And then comes the salvation. But with Hashem it's not like that. Whenever there is a decree against a Jew, when the decree comes to the world, it's only after Hashem already prepared the medicine for it, the remedy. Makdim trufa lamaka. Hashem actually prepared the remedy before the decree comes, or the sickness, or the bruise, or whatever happened to you, or you just lost a lot of money. Already Hashem planted the seed where money is going to come to you. Just before I came in, for those of you who waited for me outside, I was on the phone. I spoke to someone in Israel. This someone is, if you remember, I spoke about him a year ago, a year and a half ago. He has 13 kids. He's avrech in my kollel. Tzaddik, מה זה tzaddik? This is one of these people that 2 minutes is next to you, you fall in love with him. You don't want to lose him as a friend for the rest of your life. No matter what, you never let him go. So warm and so friendly and so loving. One of these people. But, 13 kids, life in Jerusalem is very expensive. It's like living in Manhattan. Try to imagine your life in Manhattan with 13 kids. How much you need every month. So I wanted to send him some money. You need messengers. Finally, one person asked me, can you give me here over here $2,000 and I'll give you the money in Israel for my brother? His brother is a tzaddik. I said, actually, it's a very good idea. That's exactly the amount I had in mind to send to this guy. So I said to him, perfect, yeah. I sell him the money. He let his brother know. I send his brother a message. Here is the telephone number of this tzaddik. I already know that when they talk, right away they become friends. 2 tzaddikim meet. What happened? Divrei Torah, where are you from, what this, the Gemara, this. Right away they fell in love with each other. You should see the message he recorded for me this morning. I heard. So now he called me to say thank you. Just before I walked in, he told me, can I tell you a story? He said to me in the morning, I got a notice from the bank that if I don't come to put 7,000 shekel today in the account, they shut my account, and it goes for collection, and I'm finished. That's it. I cannot open a bank account. Desperate situation. I say to myself, well, where in the world I will get 7,000 shekel now in Israel? I'm going to start knocking on doors. People give me shekel, half a shekel, 5 shekel. There's no chance. So he said, I went to the Kotel, and I started to talk to Hashem. Hashem, please help me. I don't care all the suffering that I have. But just can you, at least one favor you do to me? Help me to be a true follower of you in emunah and confidence. That I will have parnasah without any effort. I will be fully confident in you. I don't have to worry. Look at me how I'm nervous now with the bank. He's calling me every minute. Are you coming to put money? You have negative balance. Are you coming? Are you coming? You know the banks. They smile to you when you bring money. When the things don't work so smooth, the faces become not so friendly. So just when I stand there in the kotel and thinking, Ma'ayin Yavo Ezri, and Hashem, please help me, that I will, no matter what happened to me, I won't at least die from inside from fear. You have fear, you don't know what's going to be. He said, I didn't even finish to talk to Hashem, I get a call. And he said to me, usually, the whole world is calling me, because he has a good reputation of a tzaddik. So a lot of people call him for blessing, for advice, He say, usually I cannot answer the phone, Every call I see, I don't know who they are. It's going to take my whole day. I usually don't answer unless I recognize the number. But I was thinking to myself, I'm right now begging to Hashem, and there's a phone call right now. Maybe it's related. That's what I had in my mind. I answer. Who is it? The guy, my messenger. So you believe me that that's exactly how it was? So I say, Hashem, ta'azor li shiye li emunah ve'bitachon b'cha. That's all I'm asking. You want to give me, you don't want to give me, I don't care. At least let me live with that comfortably. Other people, Hashem, how can you do it to me? What? You want me on the street? They're going to close my bank account, all my checks will return, penalties. It's big fear. Everything is supervised by Hashem. His remedy before the bank contacted him was a day and a half before when I got the call from the guy. Can you give me the money here and my brother will give it to you in Israel? That message was his remedy. You understand how it works or no? That's how it always is. We say it every morning in the prayers. Baruch gozer umkayem. Blessed be the God who makes the decree, but he gives us the strength to handle it, meaning he already prepared the solution before. So that's how it goes. So now, after giving you this nice speech, this inspiring speech, where in the Megillah is the turning point? Remember, the whole concept of Purim is v'na'afochu, that everything bad and dark and ugly and discouraging and whatever you want to call it can turn around 180 degrees in a second. In a second. Boom! Wow, how can it be? Revolution. The answer, the Gemara say, the moment that Vashti said that she does not want to come. Who made Vashti not come? If you call the prettiest Goya in the world, which happened to be a queen from a royal family of the Babylonian Empire. You know what a show-off she was? She was a very evil woman also, just like her parents. They're all evil. Her father, her grandfather, Evil Merodach, Belshazzar, Nebuchadnezzar. What a genealogy she comes from. One Hitler after the other. She's a billionaire, the prettiest woman in the world, a granddaughter of the dictator that destroyed the temple and controlled the whole world and kill 20 million people, she would run to show her beauty to the drunk men. But Hashem messed it up. He gave her a rush that day. That's the only way she would not agree to come. Any other way, she can handle it. He gave her something that the goyim would tell her, come on, what is this? You Rebbitzen? Why are you covered like that? Show us your beauty. You know, the drunk, the goyim. Hey, drink. Come on, take this jacket off. Oh, they're going to see all kinds of stains on the skin. It'll be disgusting. That second is the beginning of everything is turning around. It will take us time to understand. But Bashamayim, this is when Hashem turned the switch from 0 to 1. It will take time until the lights comes on. You know, there is a delay. Sometimes you put your AC on, 100 degrees, 100% humidity. I'm dying in the house. It's like sauna here. You press, you put on 65, the air condition, nothing. They have a delay, 5 minutes. By the time you finally hear the fan, wow, Baruch Hashem, something comes out. It's, in the beginning, it's like an oven. You're counting the second. By the time the house starting to cool, you're already all sticky and sweaty. Same thing over here. It may take you time to see. But in Shamayim, it was already decreed. So, they bring Esther to the palace. How did she agree? I'm sorry, Esther, with all due respect, the Jewish nation is in a big problem. There is a decree to destroy them. We understand the point. There's massive anti-Semitism. There's a minister, there's Aman Imach Shimo, a serious hater. But how do you agree to go to be a wife of a non-Jewish king? A Jewish woman allowed to let a goy touch her? If you see what happens to women who went with a non-Jewish man in there, in the opposite world, it's a big problem. It's not allowed. The Zohar talks about it. If they convert, they convert. They're Jewish, there's no problem. This is the main problem of the Jewish nation, 70% assimilation. That's why we are the smallest nation in the world. We should have been 4 billion people. We started in the same generation like the Chinese, 4,200 years ago. We started in the same generation like the first Chinese, the father of China, Sini. It's in Parashat Noach. How many Chinese you have? 2 billion. With restriction on birth. And we did not have restriction on birth. We should have had double amount of the Chinese. Should have been 4 billion Jews. In reality, how many Jews you have in the world? 15 million. The main reasons are not the pogroms and the Holocaust and the Goyim killing us. That's one reason. The main reason is the silent Holocaust. The silent. Most Holocaust and pogroms were very noisy. Everybody saw it, everybody heard about it, and everyone remember it. Everyone remember the Holocaust in Germany and in Poland, and the destruction of the first temple and the second temple and pogroms that the Arabs made in Israel in the 1920s. It's all documented. It's a part of history. You cannot hide those pogroms. Everyone will remember September 11, what happened in America. Everyone will remember October 7 in 1,000 years from now. Things like this will never be erased. But the silent Holocaust is in front of us, is every second, and nobody barely pays attention to it. How the children of God neglected him, betrayed him, and broke one of the main rules of the Torah, that he did not give us permission to mix with other nations. And again, not for racist reasons, Not because we are better than the goyim. No, sometimes the goyim are better than us. There are many goyim that are very righteous, nice, elegant, generous, good people. Hashem loves them very much. He loved this goy. You ask him, who do you love more, this goy or this Jew? I love this goy 100 times more than I love this Jew. He's a nice person. He cares about me, he respects me, he loves religion, he helps, he donates. He's a great person. And what about this Jewish girl? Disaster. Doesn't believe in me, don't care about mitzvot, don't care about Shabbat, eat whatever she wants. She's not a good girl. So the guy is better than her. So he's doing her a favor. Technically, yes. It's no question that he's better than her. But it's not allowed. That's what the Torah says, not allowed. Now, again, some people think, oh, the Torah is racist, the Torah is prejudiced. Why? The Jews are something special? No. If the Jew is righteous, he's special. If he's wicked, he's a disaster. And a horrible hell is waiting for him. He won't be able to say, I'm a grandson of such an important tzaddik. It won't help him. Your grandfather is in heaven, and you have to go to furnace number 7. We prepare for you over there, you know. What are you going to say? I'm a grandson of this. My last name is Caro. I'm a grandson of the Rabbi Yosef Caro. How's it helping you right now? Your grandfather is the greatest, and you are the worst. It's not for who's better. That's not the reason. Hashem wanted to protect the Jewish nation that it won't disappear from the face of the earth. If more Jews will marry, and more, and more, and more, after 10, 20, 30 generations, that's it. Nothing will be left. We were very close to it. There were one point before the Holocaust that the number of the Jews in the world were, who knows how much? The lowest number ever. How many Jews yet? The lowest number. 500,000. That's it, in the whole world. I mean, the world didn't have 8 billion people. I don't think they even had 1 billion people at that time. But there were only 500,000 Jews in the whole world.
When?
Before the Holocaust, way before. I have a chart. It shows you in every generation, after every massive disaster and pogrom, what was the reduction of the Jews that year in the world. Like first temple, second temple, this one, that one, this one. After the Holocaust, according to that chart, there were 18 million Jews in the world. After the Holocaust, it dropped to 12 million.
What about before, rabbinically, before they changed the religion to the mother, and they had it was the father? Do you think back then the population would have, I mean, if they brought it back to the fathers, don't you think the population of Judaism will grow? I feel like when they change it to the mother...
It's not relevant. First of all, you can never tell the religion unless you follow the mother. Because how do you know who the father is? Anyone in the world can swear that his father is his father? No. Unless you're mamash like a twin of your father. Twin. That people get confused who is who. Okay, now, obviously is his son. But if you don't look exactly like your father, can you hold the Torah and swear that this is your father? There's no way to know. You can swear 100% who your mother is, because everyone saw where you came from. You cannot fake such thing.
According to the Torah, it was based on the father.
No, it was always...
They changed it to the mother.
No, ma pitom. It was always following the mother. It's a pasuk in the Torah. Ki yasir et bincha ma'achara. It's a pasuk in the Torah. So that's what's interesting about the Muslims, that they follow the father. But how do you know who the father is? Fatima comes. Fatima, what happened? How are you pregnant? God came to me in a dream and made me pregnant. Fatima wasn't like Mary. Mary made up a story. Fatima have a different story. One person raped me last night. Not last night, 3 months ago, because now you see her stomach. Ahmed, don't kill me, please. What happened? 3 months ago, I walked in a market. Someone came from behind, choked me and raped me. Tov, okay, Fatima, relax. Why should we kill you? You were raped. It's not your fault. But who is this kid? How are you going to call your son? Well, let's call him Mustafa. So Mustafa come to the world. Mustafa, what are you? Maybe Muslim, maybe Christian, maybe Hindu, maybe Jewish. What do we have no way to know? Look how silly. You don't know the father, so there's no religion to the kid. You get it or no? It's ridiculous. So, Rabotai, Esther, how she agreed? That's the question I'm asking. How Esther agreed to go to the palace? Kill me. I don't go. Yesterday I talked about the story of Sulika, Holy Sulika from Morocco. The king wanted her for his son. The son liked her. She was a very pretty Jewish girl in Morocco. No matter what they did, she refused. In the end, they tortured her to death. And she has a grave in Morocco. Beautiful sight, white, nice. Someone sent me a video from there. And the Muslims every day come to pray by her grave. They know to appreciate a Jewish tzaddik, at least in Morocco. In Syria, you have a lot of Jewish tzaddikim, big, huge rabbis buried in Syria. Huge. One of them, maybe perhaps the biggest one, is Rabbi Chaim Vital, the main student of the Ari Kadosh. The whole Kabbalah in the world came from him. Without him, no one would know what Kabbalah is today. No one. It's Rabbi Chaim Vital. The Ari Kadosh said, I was sent to the world to pass the secrets of Kabbalah to you. That was the whole reason why I came to the world. And he's buried in Syria with other Chachamim. Rav Kaduri, alav shalom, he went with few rabbis to Syria. And I want to remind you, Syria is an enemy country. We bomb them every day, we bomb them. They're together with Iran. They seek for the destruction of Israel. We had few wars with them. As this is one of the biggest enemies we have in the world, Assad, the dictator that poisoned 500,000 of his own people with gas, welcomed the rabbis to Syria, gave them respect of kings, and let them go to the graves to pray, while we are in a war with Syria. Then there is a group of Syrian Jews right here from Flatbush, Halabim. I think it was about 12, wealthy people that have connections in a community. They decided to go to the Jewish cemetery in Syria. That's where the parents came from. The Syrians, the Halabim, the Meskes, Syria. They went, I saw the picture. They sit together with Assad. And they told Assad, thank you for allowing us to come to pray in the graves of our fathers and rabbis. We would like to contribute a large, generous donation to restore the cemetery, the Jewish cemetery. Things are broken, nobody took care of it for decades. We would like to restore the roads, cut some trees, make some paths, better gates, things are broken over there, to clean. We would like to give money for that. You know what Asta told them? You're embarrassing me for even saying such thing. This is my obligation. These Chachamim, in Arabic, how do you call a rabbi? Chacham. The Arabs, the Muslim, they call the rabbi Chacham. So, they say to them, that's my obligation. This Chacham lived here in my country. I have to give them respect. You want to pay for it? It's an insult for us. We will do everything and we will be honored to pay. Go say it to a liberal Jew. Say, you want to restore the cemetery of the rabbis? How about we make a road on it? A highway. That's what the garbage liberal would tell you. So you come to someone who poisoned 500,000 people. It's not exactly a tzaddik, in case you didn't get the point. But when he heard Chachamim, Faddal, ala aini wa ala rasi. That's what he said. Same thing, Mubarak. Mubarak took the place of Anwar Sadat, who took the place of Nasser, another Hitler. Sadat supposedly made peace with Israel, tricked us really good, gave them more than half of Israel went to them, land. There was really no peace with them. There was no peace. Nobody hates us more than the Egyptians. There's 80 million Egyptians, every one of them is a pure Nazi. Cannot find one Egyptian that like Jews, not one in 80 million. They are the biggest haters. What did they lose? Let's fool these stupid Israelis, tell them let's make peace. We get back all the land. What do we give them? We give them nothing. Nothing is going to change. They gave nothing and they got everything. Palestinians gave nothing, got everything. Jordanians gave nothing, got everything. That's how they fool us. When you deal with Zionists, communist morons who have no connection to Hashem, they constantly will be fooled by these Arab. Because the Arab knows who they deal with these European stupid Jews who has no connection to Hashem. They think that by surrendering to the Arabs and giving them gifts, they would like us. They don't understand that the Arabs look at that as a weakness, an opportunity to destroy us more. They don't understand the Middle Eastern concept. They think with civilized countries, let's make peace. I'll give you this, and you stop attacking me. Okay, let's shake hands, case closed. That's it. No more wars. They don't get the point. Anyway, someone tell Rav Ovadia Yosef that the Egyptians decided to make a highway, a big highway in Egypt, and the highway will go over the Jewish cemetery. They have no choice. There's buildings, the highway has to go. They have to knock down the cemetery, meaning on the graves make the highway. Rav Ovadia Yosef heard such thing. He used to be the chief rabbi of Egypt. He got on a plane, immediately flew to meet Mubarak. He called Aryeh Deri, the head of Shas. He was in the Knesset until today he's there. Please use your connection to make me a meeting with Husni Mubarak. Husni Mubarak heard that the chief rabbi, the Chacham that used to be a rabbi in Cairo, he wants to come to meet me. Right away he approved the meeting. Rav Ovadia went there, he spoke to him in Arabic. Rav Ovadia was born where? Iraq. So he spoke to him in Arabic. He told him, God forbid, think about it, your grandfather is buried somewhere and someone's going to make a highway on his grave and people will drive. How can you live with such thing, especially when they're holy people and these? Mubarak told him, Rabbi, I understand exactly what you say, but you don't understand what the damage it's going to become for us. We're going to have to lose billions if we have to change the path of this highway. There's really not that many options. It's going to have to be a lot longer. People will have to travel a lot longer. It's going to be a big circle. This one cutting right through. It will save billions of drivers so much time in a highway. But for your honor, the Chacham of the Yahud, I will see what I can do. I will make them change the path of the highway. And Rabbi told him, if you do that, I give you a blessing, that you live long life, and those who wants to defeat you will never succeed. That's like that. Then, the Muslim Brothers, which is Hamas, made a revolution in Egypt with the help of Facebook, with the help of Hussein Obama. Hussein against Husni. Hussein is a leopard. You know how the leopard changes the color? If it goes on the land, it becomes brown. It climbs on a tree, dark brown. Goes on the leaves, become green. Hussein Obama is like that. He is a friend with Mubarak. Now he heard 2 million Arabs are in the center of Cairo. It's too late. Mubarak is falling. Right away he called the Muslim brother. Kif halak, brothers. How are you today? Who is this? Your brother Hussein. Let's talk how we pass the government into your hand. Immediately stuck a knife to his ally. Mubarak and him are allies. Egypt, and they received money from America. He sold Mubarak right away, and the Muslim brother took over, put Mubarak in jail with his sons. they made in a court case against him that there was no doubt to anyone in Egypt that soon they're going to see him hanged with his son in the center of town. That was the talk in Egypt. Not one person gave him a chance to come out of it. Embezzle money, corruption, killing people in demonstration, murder, corruption, stealing, robbing. What a court case. That's it. There's no chance to come out of it without death penalty. And against all odds, the bracha of Chacham Ovadia got him out in the end free. No punishment, nothing. Nobody understands how did it happen. They let him die. He was already an old man. Later slept in his house, no jail, no that. And until he died. For that respect that he gave, not to destroy the Jewish cemetery over there. I have a cousin in Israel, he's a judge in a court. Not anymore, he quit. He is a secular guy, but he's honest, like, straight like a ruler, very, very straight. That's his nature, very, very straight. So when he was a judge in Haifa is one of the largest cities in Israel, he was very honored. The lawyers, they give marks to the judges based on performance in a courtroom. They come ready, they know the material, they're not confused, they remember the last meeting in a court. Some judges are drug addicts. Smoke, hey, what's up? What's your name? Remind me. You know me for 20 years. What do you mean, what's my name? So, you have judges like this. They don't know what are we dealing here with today. That's the murder case. Oh, murder case. I was talking about a different case. Give me 5 minutes. I need a bathroom break. They don't know what's going on, but he was professional. One time, my aunt is telling me, tomorrow he has a court case, about 20 Hasidim. They were arrested for demonstrating in Bet Shemesh somewhere, or in Haifa, I don't know exactly, somewhere in the north. They were demonstrating because the Israelis, they want to make a road, and while they were making a road, they found graves. Star David on a marble there. It was a cemetery. An ancient cemetery from hundreds of years ago. They discovered it while they were making an underpass. So right away the Hasidim, they're zealous to Hashem. They came, they started to scream, they demonstrate, they beat them up, the police, get out of here. No, what do you mean? The tractor is going to destroy graves. So they arrest them. And he has to now decide if they remain in jail or they can go out on bail. Or if maybe there's no case, he can dismiss the case. So she tells me he's going to be the judge in this case. Right away I contacted him. I told him, I just want you tomorrow when you make a decision, when this Hasidim come, I know you hear the media and everyone brainwash the secular people against the religious Orthodox. I just want to remind you one thing. Your father passed. Your father has his grave. Imagine now a tractor decided to make a highway on your father's head. It's going to be now a road. Everybody drive with his car on your father's grave. 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, 50, 100 million cars every week will drive on your father's grave. And a bunch of Hasidim out of nowhere showed up, lay there, get beaten up, they break their bones, throw things on them, arrest them, torture them, wants them to be in jail for what? For living their comfortable life and coming in a heat to a place to try to stop this crime of making a road on the graves of holy people. Just think, someone like that deserve a prize or deserve a punishment? He's very, very calculated. I hear you, אני שומע אותך. One word, אני שומע אותך, I hear you. The next day on the news, the lefties are in shock. Judge decided to dismiss the case. Or if they only knew I'm behind it, my problems with them would start 10 years earlier. They only came to me after this lousy trader prime minister came after me. This was 10 years before, or more even. But in the end, he saw for his own eyes that it's all so corrupted, and he went back to be a lawyer. He was making more than 10 times more as a lawyer. Why? You have an office, you're a lawyer, you make so much money, you are a prestige lawyer, you have lots of customers. Why would you want to close your office and go to be a judge in a court for 90% less salary? The answer, honor, ego, respect. Now there's a conflict between two desires that human being has. One, desire for honor, people to bow down to me, to acknowledge me, to recognize me, to love me, to admire me, to praise me, to compliment me, to, to admire my wisdom, whatever, everyone with his dream. And then there is another desire, greed, money. I want to occupy the whole world. What happened with two desires that you have collides with each other? You can eat both, either this or that. If you're going to follow the desire for honor, you're going to lose millions of dollars in your career. If you follow a desire for money, you're going to get zero respect. You're just going to be a lawyer. Lawyers don't get any respect. You're not going to be, oh, your honor, your honor. So that's how you know which one of the desires are stronger. Some people, the greed and love for money is so huge that they're willing to be embarrassed everywhere and have terrible articles about them. And people spit at them in the street. And people hate them. They are cruel landlord, torturing the tenants. Their face is in a newspaper every day as long as they make millions. They don't care. People spit at them. People wish them to die. They don't care. Why? They don't have so much ego. Big deal. They curse me. Let them curse. I make $1 million a week. Some people, their honor is so important, for any amount of money, they won't want to compromise it. So as much as they love money, they love their reputation 1,000,000 times more. So they're willing to give any amount of money to some reporter not to publish a bad article about them. I'll give you $10 million. Please bury it. Don't make it see air. Why? I rather lose a lot of money than not to that people look at me in a negative way. So depend. He, apparently, his ego and honor and the will to control overcame by far his desire for money. Until today, he's not such a greedy person. He lives comfortable, he drives a normal car, nothing to show off. But some people, their love for money is so huge, they'll never agree to be a judge. Why would I be a judge? I make 10 times more here. Same thing with athletes. You have athletes in Israel, soccer players. They also have this dilemma. One, they have greed for money. They want to make a lot of money. They're young, in their 20s. They're not going to play forever. By age 35, they're done. They have between age 18 to 35, that's it. The rest of their life, they're not going to be employed. They want to make a lot of money. So in Israel, how much they can make? $100,000, $200,000 a year. It's not such a big league. They want to go to Europe. In Europe, they can make 5 million a year, 10 million a year, a lot more, 20 times more. But in Europe, they never play. They're all usually a bunch of losers. 1 out of 100 maybe was a good player, meaning that he can play in Europe because the Europeans are very strong in soccer. So he's going to Europe, he will play a game or two the whole season. He will sit on the bench, no one will know where he is, everyone in Israel will forget him. Well, but he makes 10 million a year. In Israel he made $1 million a year, now he makes 10 million a year. 5, 6 seasons is going to be in Europe, come to Israel with $50, $60 million, and now he's going to start getting some acknowledgement after he made so much money. But some players, they don't want. They want the fame. They walk in the street, everyone comes, selfie, Moshe, wow, I'm your biggest fan. It doesn't matter, he will be broke. But everyone in Israel would would scream when they see him on the street, "Tata, what a goal you scored!" They're looking for honor. But they offer you 10 times more money. They don't want. Why they don't want? Their ego overcome the greed for money. You got it? So, after we clarify this, I want to ask you now, why Esther agreed to go? She should say to them right away, "I'm Jewish. I'm not allowed to be with a non-Jewish man. Sorry, it's against my religion. Respect it." One chance they will tell her, "Okay, we respect it. We won't tell the king about you." Or they'll get angry. "We're offering you to be the queen and you're giving us this garbage, that you're religious? We'll make you, I don't know, Muslim," whatever it was. There's no Islam. Islam is only 1300 years old. Whatever Achashverosh was. "You will follow your husband's religion." Or they'll say, "If you won't agree, we will execute you. We'll throw you out of the window." That's the worst can happen, right? One, either they let it go. Two, they will take her by force. You have to be what your husband is not Jewish, and you're going to be not Jewish. That's it. Or if she refuses, they'll kill her. No big deal. She'll die and go to heaven. What's the problem? Isn't it the law that if they tell a Jew to worship any idol, he has to die and not to agree? He has to die to give his life. So why Esther didn't give her life? Now we're going to learn an important difference between a Jewish man and a Jewish woman. A big difference. They bring Esther to the palace. 5 years she's there. She doesn't say that she's Jewish. And no one betray her. There were no lefty traders. You didn't have Chuck Schumer, Bernie Sanders, and 75% of American Jews that betray Israel and betray Judaism. Remember what Trump said? When was it? Yesterday? What I've been saying for more than 20 years. You know how many people send me the clip about Trump today? You have no idea how many. I don't know, maybe 100 at least. Everybody send it to me. You've been saying it for years. What's the chidush? Every Jew who vote Democrat is a criminal. I've been saying it for years. There's nothing new. He's a traitor. Betray his own nation, betray Israel, betray God, betray Judaism, and betray morality. Support abortion, support helping to terrorists, support illegal immigration, support robbing the rich and giving to lousy bums to do nothing with their life. Everything about Democrats is negative. Everything. Don't get me wrong, not that the Republicans are such big tzaddikim, you know. We're not talking about the Baba Sali here and the Ben Ish Chai here. But they're not as bad. That's already a big thing. They're not as bad. Both bad. But Republicans are half as bad. That's already an achievement. What would you like? Someone to rob you for $1 million or $500,000? You have to choose one of the two robbers. You have Tony and you have Vinny. They're all with a gun pretending a robbery now. They ask you, "Hey, by the way, I can talk to them. He needs $1 million and needs $500,000. I'll direct the one with $1 million to your neighbor. How much you give me? I'll give you $5,000. Send Vinny, $500,000. Okay, I live with that. Since when you request a robber come into your house and rob you? You don't want it. But what's the alternative? To lose $1 million. You just got away with $500,000. You got the point? What's the alternative? Republicans are better than nothing. Much better to fall in the hands of the Democrats. So what did he say? He said everyone who votes Democrats, a Jew, is betraying God, betraying the state of Israel. It's not betraying Judaism. Clearly he said that. He's right. When he's right, he's right. Is it going to make a change? No, they will do on purpose the opposite. They commit suicide. They'll see Israel go on flame, they'll still vote Democrats. They see all the Nazis in the Democratic Party, all these Walid, Shalit, Balit, all these Muslim Nazis, that wants genocide in Israel and are so happy about October 7, and the Jews will still vote for them. How can you vote for them? It's not normal. They want to put you in the gas chambers. They want to chop your head off. They want to burn you alive. They want to steal the land that God gave to your fathers. How would you vote for someone who called for your death? The answer, when you are a self-hated Jew and a traitor and a lefty, everything is possible. Everything is possible. Instead of coming and saying, Trump, as much as I don't like your style, you're right. We made mistakes. It's time to change. You don't want to vote Republican, don't vote at all.
Rabbi, can I ask you a question?
No, we don't know. I don't want to go to politics. I just mentioned it by the way. So the question is, Rabotai, Esther is 5 years in the palace and no one came to Achashverosh to tell him, you know, your wife is Jewish. Now one Jew, do you know what connection you're going to have with the king of 127 countries? Imagine you come to Achashverosh, hi, can I speak to the king? Who are you? My name is Yitzhak Cohen. No? Why you want to speak to the king? Who exactly you are? I have information that once the king find out what I'm about to tell him, he's going to kiss me 1,000,000 kisses. I promise you, I'm going to be his hero. Don't worry. If you don't like what I am about to tell the king, kill me. You get curious. Okay, King Achashverosh, right away, bring that Yitzhak Cohen quickly. Let's see what he has to say. He comes in. Your Majesty, you like your new queen, right? She refused to tell you where she's from. You know why? I went to school with her. She's Jewish. Ma? She's Jewish and she's not telling me? You have a special card. Any problem you have, you are a friend of the king. Not one person sold her. No one. Remember, it's before they realize they're about to die. Nobody sold her. How long it will be today that they'll sell you on the media? Less than a minute. As soon as she arrived to the palace, it will be all over Facebook. Breaking news! There are rumors. The king replaced his queen, that pretty one, he wiped her out and brought a new queen. Who is this lovely queen? Anyone who has information about her, please call 1-800. A reward will be given. Thousands of people will call, hey, we know her. She's from here, she's from there, her father, her mother. Nobody sold her. 5 years. אין אסתר מגדת עמה ומלדתה. But we still have the question, why she didn't want to down Kiddush Hashem? Kill me. I'm not going to be with this king. The answer, Rabotai, Esther has to have intimacy with the Achashverosh. It's not every day, because he has other wives. How does he choose them? They walk in the garden. And he has a stick. He looks. Who is he in the mood? Fatma. Fatma touched the stick. Fatma has a meeting with him tonight. So basically the relationship between the king and the queen was nothing but intimacy, nothing else. Do you think you have time to talk to them? Meaning they have to beg to be with the king, that they can go and brag. The king chose me. That's basically it. So she can hide. Don't come in the garden. 5 years he won't see you. Right on. That was the plan. She did hide. Except when Mordechai told her, it's going to be a Holocaust. Hashem put you here. You must save us. If you won't save us, someone else will. But you will be judged with your future forever for having an opportunity to save us from a Holocaust and you didn't do it. I don't get it. Mordechai is a big rabbi, big chacham. He suggests that the Jewish girl from Bet Yaakov Yeshiva would want to go with this drunk terrorist and be intimate with him in order for her to save the Jewish nation from death? Is this allowed or no? Pikuach nefesh allowed such thing? If someone wants to kill 10 Jews, unless we give them a Jewish girl that they can take her and do horrible things to her. And if we will give her the girl, they won't kill the 10 brothers or neighbors or whatever. We're allowed to give her? No. So what's the question here? It's a good question, Rabotai. But it's different between a man and a woman. Yes. A woman is compared to the land of the world. The land of the world is not, it's static, it's not moving, right? It's stuck and it's there and that's it. In intimacy, a woman is not interested. She doesn't move, she freezes, she doesn't cooperate. Someone is taking advantage on her. If you connect her now to a lie detector, they would ask her, did you want it? She said, no, it was the worst minute of my life. I would rather die than be there. So why didn't you kill yourself? I didn't have the guts. I was afraid to kill myself. You need to be brave. What, to jump from the window? What should I do? Should I burn myself? Should I drink pills? What should I have done? You're right, I should have killed myself, but I was afraid. Now, thinking about what happened to me, I would rather be dead before it happened. But in the middle of the rape, she didn't want. So she doesn't cooperate. A man cannot be intimate with a woman without being active. This is the way Hashem designed the world. You know, in a kosher intimacy, the woman is laying with her face up and the man with his face down. Why did Hashem design it like this? The Gemara say because everyone in a time of intimacy is the highest moment of connection. There are moments of connection between man and a woman. One is when they look at each other's eyes. It's already make a connection. That's why you're not supposed to look at women's eyes. She's not your wife, not supposed to look at her. Go to the supermarket, look at her eyes. What is this? It's already a connection. Then physical connection, like handshake, hugs, all these things. Then kisses. It creates unity between the two people. And intimacy, the highest form of connection. The highest form of connection. So now, in a moment which is the highest form of connection between a male and a female, Hashem wanted each one of them to be connected also to the source of their creation. A man looks down to the ground, that's where he was created from. ויצר השם אלוקים את האדם עפר מן האדמה. God created Adam sent from the ground. So a man is facing down. And a woman face up to his rib. That's where she came from. So she has connection to where she was created from. And he has a connection to where he was created from. But there's one difference between man and a woman. A man is an occupier, is occupying, is an activist. He cannot be static and have intimacy. It's not possible. But a woman can be static, can be disgusted, can even cry, can faint even. She's suffering right now. What? But she doesn't move. Since she doesn't move and she's not cooperating, is not in the same league of a sin of someone who goes with a woman that is forbidden to him, and is active to do it. It's called that is doing פעולה, עשייה. A woman is שב ואל תעשה. She doesn't do anything. Yes, she eventually indirectly participating right now in a sin. But she's first not interested in it. Second, she does it for the sake of saving life of thousands. And third, if she wouldn't agree, they'll kill her anyway. And they kill the Jews. It's not that if she does it, if she refuses, they will kill only her. No, they'll kill her and they'll kill the Jews. You didn't get anything by that. Okay. So now, Rabotai, when we understand a little bit the calculation over here, the Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin say, Esther karka olam hayta. The Gemara explained that in one sentence. Esther is like the land of the world, meaning static. She doesn't have to move. Like the land doesn't move, she doesn't move. Tov. The Rama, the chief rabbi of all the Ashkenazim in the last 500 years. He wrote his commentary on the Shulchan Aruch. Rabbi Moshe Isserlich. He lived short life, 33 years. In 33 years, people were the biggest chachamim in the world. 33 years. What is today? Someone 33 years. How much Torah he knows? The Ramchal, 38 years old, wrote more than 100 books. In the level of an angel. The Gaon Mivilna. All these people, when they were already in their 30s, they were giants. Or HaChaim HaKadosh. All these people, in a very young age, they already knew the whole Torah. Rav Nachman Mibreslev, 39. A lot of the Chachamim didn't even make it to 40. The Ari HaKadosh, less than 40. How did they do it? Hard to believe. One of the explanations is that their souls were in a much higher level than ours. They were capable of receiving a lot more. But there's another reason. The world was not a dirty place like it is now. They didn't have to come in contact with any filthy people or not modest women or, the culture that we have today. There was no internet, no screens everywhere, temptation that the world has today. It was all very simple life. People make their own food. Everyone has few roosters and chickens in a backyard with a goat or two. They make their own cheese. They make their own meat. And that's what it is. The chicken gives you eggs, so you eat eggs. You eat a little bit meat. You eat chicken. You eat fish that you catch. That's it. You live in a simple house. There's no electric. There's nothing to see on your phone when you're bored. Once garbage doesn't go in, only holiness goes in. It's like a snowball, because it's pure. The problem with us is a lot of good things go in, and then comes one bad thing and destroy everything. You learn 10 hours today, Torah, you walk on the street, you come out of the yeshiva, women walks, no clothes, no nothing, screens everywhere, you look, wow, what a picture, wow, what a car. What. Right away, the poison penetrates. So your head is a basket full of garbage and full of Torah mixed. I don't have to tell you what happened when you spill on a Sefer Torah some coffee. What happened to it? So that's really the problem. The problem is that even children, you send them to good yeshiva, and then you give them those iPads to watch all kinds of things. Oh, what am I letting them watch? It's a Discovery Channel, Rabbi. It's animals. Look how beautiful the zebra, Rabbi. They don't like elephants? Look, elephants, horse, shark. What can be bad? I want them to fall in love with Hashem. Doesn't the Rambam say that the more you look at the creation, the more you fall in love with God? She is such a good lawyer, this woman. Huh? Look how she convinced the rabbi in 2 minutes that it's mitzvah to give the kids Discovery Channel. Until you listen to the background explanation. 300 million years ago. That's it. Poison, venom, went into the mind of this Jewish pure kid. 15 years later, he will become Santa Claus. Or the clown from Englewood, or the clown from London. One of these Reshaim Arurim. How they became so evil and so wicked and such Machtiya Rabim. The garbage that went into their system, usually from college, corrupted their mind. It's not that they didn't learn Torah. They learned Torah, they were in yeshivot, no? Most of them were born religious, they're not Baalei Tshuva. So there were X amount of years that they learned Torah somewhere. How they became such enemies of God? Worse than any Christian, worse than any Muslim, worse than any Hindu even. How they became people that destroyed the world? Every one of those in my blacklist. How they became like that? The garbage that went into their head. The clown from Englewood had the urge to write a book about kosher, you know what. Wow, it was such an achievement to write a filthy book like this. Why? The Goyim ran. Wow, can we invite you to a talk show? Michael Jackson bought him a house in Englewood. That's the rumor. That's what they say. If it's true or not, I don't know. Since when a pedophile ran to buy a house to a rabbi? Connect. Why? What's going on? And where is the house? Next door to Gaddafi, the mass murderer. You know Gaddafi, the dictator of Libya, that was raped by his own people? He had the worst death you can imagine, the worst. They have a mutual land. Oy la rasha, oy le shcheno. But here I'm not sure which one is more wicked. This one or that one? The Jew or the Goy? I'm not so sure. I'm actually sure, but better not to go into it. So let's move on. The Rama, he writes in a different language a little bit. He say, if a woman is being attacked, she's not agreeing to the relationship, she has no obligation to give her life to die. She doesn't have this obligation. If a man is forced to commit a sin of Gilui Arayot, have intimacy with his woman or we kill you, it's not allowed, he has to die. Because he cannot have intimacy without being active. But by a woman, no. You force her, she doesn't want. You force her, she's anusa. Anus Rahmana Patre. But here it's even more lenient. This is a one individual woman and I want to take advantage on her. Here she's not even doing it for herself. She has only one thing in mind. How do I save my nation from a Holocaust? Millions will die. And which kind of millions? All of them religious. All Shomrei Shabbat. Not like today, 80% Mechalelei Shabbat, haters of God, all kinds of people that we have in our nation, unfortunately. That according to the Torah, anyway, they don't deserve to live because they break Shabbat every week. Mechalel Shabbat mot yumat. Some of them are idol worshippers, some of them are gays, some of them are murderers, some of them are pedophiles, some of them are murderers, some of them are huge thieves. Some of them do Chilul Hashem every second of their life in their job. Some of them are Mosrim and Apikorsim and haters of Torah, promoting abomination, making disaster movies in Hollywood, destroying economy of the country with their greed. These people definitely don't deserve to breathe, but Hashem keeps them for the time being, until He will start giving them what they deserve. But here it wasn't the case. Everyone was a tzaddik. Every woman was modest. Every man was a learner of Torah. Everyone had yarmulke and tzitzit and ate strictly kosher. This is how Haman described the Jews to Achashverosh. They're all different, they're all religious, they have different religions, different language, they don't mix with us, they don't look like us, they don't want to get anything to do with us, they're not loyal to our culture and to our country, they're not productive, all day they learn Torah, what do you need them? They don't even pay taxes. And the few of them that pay taxes, it's on me. Tell me how much you're going to lose by killing them, whatever income you have from those few Jews who work, I cover. That's how he presented his case. Meaning almost nobody was a businessman. Definitely not a criminal. To save millions of tzaddikim like this, she's willing to sacrifice a lot more than her life. If you ask a woman, what would you rather, being raped or being killed? Most of them, 99% will say being killed. Shoot me quickly in the head that I don't have to go through this nightmare. Because the rape is not just the rape. It's 20 years after. Non-stop suffering. So Esther say, I'm willing to give my life. You know, they say one student caught the Gaon Mivilna by surprise learning Gemara in Tisha B'Av. You're not allowed to learn Torah in Tisha B'Av. You have to learn things of mornings, sad things. Why the Torah makes you very happy. Pikudei Hashem Yesharim Mesamchei Lev. Making the heart joy and happiness. And in a day that the temple was destroyed and millions of Jews were murdered, the last thing you want is happiness and joy. Now it's time to cry, to sit on the floor and cry and fast. So we're not supposed to learn the usual Gemara that we learn every day, no. So someone caught the Gaon Mivilna learning Gemara. Rabbi, you're breaking the law. Gaon Mivilna, biggest rabbi in the world, the holiest person in the whole world. It's learning, hiding and learning Gemara. I don't know if this story really happened or not. You know, some stories you have to check if they're reliable or not. But I always tell people when they ask me, do you believe that that story really happened? I have a great answer to those who question the story. You know what I say? If it happens or not, I don't know, I wasn't there. But one thing I can tell you, no one tells stories like this about me and you. You get the point or no? Someone comes and say, you know what, I read in a book of the Baba Sali, they're crazy with their nonsense, they're exaggerating. The Baba Sali told the Arab driver, go over there, you're going to find a lake, bring water and put in a radiator. How the Baba Sali know in the Sahara desert that there is some lake somewhere? Don't you see that he has a holy vision? And the driver put a stick with a t-shirt on the road that on the way back, he's going to look for that stick that he can go take a nice shower and drink some water. And when the driver came back, there was no lake. Sounds like a fairy tale. So one person told me, you really believe this nonsense? People make up stories. The answer, yes, some people make up stories. People are people. Some are making fake stories. Maybe they have good intention. Why do you make up that fake story? To inspire the kids to be like the Baba Sali, holy. It gives inspiration. But that's very dangerous. Because if one day these kids will find out that some of the stories are not real, then they'll begin to question the stories that are written in a book of God directly, in the Torah. Oh, how do I know that the Red Sea split? They have difficult time to adjust, to adapt the stories of the Torah. How do I know manna was falling from heaven every day? You believe such thing? You believe there will be the resurrection of the dead? Rabbi, come on. You look to me intelligent. You speak about Torah and science. No, science. Science said that a person that 500 years in the grave can come back to life. Come on. Rabbi, you're not those primitive one, you know. You have a nice tie. You really believe someone will come out of a grave after 500 years is dead? Why is he talking like this? Because he's academic. Because he's used logic. Logically, nobody comes out of the grave. It's a fact. What's wrong with what he said? Nothing is wrong. What's wrong with him? That he did not understand that when God wants something to happen, the laws of nature is definitely not an obstacle for him. As you can see at least 100 times in the Torah. So what are you suggesting? That God is a liar? That he wrote in his Torah that he split the Red Sea and the Jewish nation went through and the Egyptian drowned. You have either one option to believe what's happened, because God said so, or to say, I don't believe that it happened because God is lying. There's no in between. It's either this or that. When you tell people fairy tales, that causes the indirect damage that later they become infidels. Infidels. So I say to people, if it happened or not, I don't know. I mean, can I swear on my life that it happened? No. Some happened, some didn't happen. But nobody writes a book that I drove with the Arab driver in the desert, and I told the Arab, go and you're going to see a lake over there, and out of nowhere I actually created that lake, because on the way back there was no lake. The stick was there with the shirt, but then there was no water. You get the point or no? Anyone would write about us a story like this one day? Something inside me tell me that it's not going to be the case. You don't know. So, Rabotai,
Why was he learning Gemara?
so of course the Gaon Mivilna is learning Gemara, and the student told him, Rabbi, you're learning Gemara? And the rabbi told him, I know that I'm going to hell for that, but it's worth it for me. Not to lose a day, a year of learning and go to hell for that, I'm willing to take the suffering. Meaning his love for the Torah was so huge, his addiction to Torah was so big, that they come to a drug addict, they say, if you're going to touch this drug right now, you're going to jail for a month of suffering. And he'll still do the drug. Are you normal? 1 month of suffering with all kinds of who knows what. Why did you touch? I can't help it. I can't. I just cannot resist it. So imagine if someone is such an addict of Torah, and 1 second he cannot stop learning. Or like Ben Azai. The Gemara said Ben Azai was teaching shiur, and he said to his student, a person is not allowed to be without a woman. He must do everything he can from age 18. Today it's a little bit later, 20, 22, okay, but from a very young age, to get married and to have kids. The student knew that he's already much older and he has no intention to ever get married. He's not going on dates. Everyone asked him, Rabbi, Ben Azai, we have a great religious girl for you. No, I'm not open for shidduchim. They asked him, Rabbi, na'eh doresh, na'eh mekayem. It's not enough just to give nice speeches. You have to live by what you preach. It's easy to talk, much harder to keep. So the rabbi answered them, you're right. What can I answer? Chashka nafshi b'Torah. My soul is addicted to the Torah. I cannot go 5 minutes without Torah. I'll be destroyed. Someone like me can never be a husband. Can definitely not be a father of kids and raise them. Cannot be a person that can live in a family. Why? Because all day I have to be in learning. Cannot stop. So how can I entertain my wife? How can I give her attention? How can I give her love? How can I even be with her? How? I don't want to waste a minute on food a day. You expect me to be with a woman and she's sad now, she's crying, she needs support. It's not fair. Now the Gemara has a discussion about this. Does he have a case or no? Because it's written in the Torah. First mitzvah to get married and have kids. With all due respect to you, Mr. Dear Rabbi Ben Azai, the mitzvot of the Torah applies to you as well. Right? But there is such a concept that someone that is forced, is unable and handicapped. Let someone doesn't have hands. He cannot put tefillin. You cannot come and say to him, he's such a criminal, you never put tefillin. You normal? I was born without hands. How can I put tefillin? God gives him reward like he put tefillin, because he knows he's suffering every day in a shul when he see people put tefillin and doesn't have hands. You get the point or no? So he cannot do lulav. He doesn't have hands. There are many mitzvot he cannot keep. He is not guilty. He's anus. Anus means you are forced, unable to do. The Gemara says if someone is in such an addiction to Torah, like this Rabbi Ben Azai, will he be freed and his punishment will be cancelled and dismissed or no? The answer is yes. The Gemara say, but from now on, no one is in the level of Ben Azai. From now on, no one will be able to make such a claim. How did the Chachamim know? Every Chacham knew all the other Chachamim. And no one was in such a level like him. No one. So the Chachamim say he's an exceptional student. Exceptional. No one can reach such level. So he is the only one that can use this claim. It's anus. Just like someone who doesn't have hands, he cannot put tefillin. Someone who doesn't have money, can he give tzedakah? Yes or no? He doesn't have a penny to his name. His balance is negative. He wants to give now on Purim matanot le'evyonim. His rabbi told him, excuse me, in case you didn't understand, you are an evion. Supposed to receive gifts. After you receive, you also give. But right now, there's no claim against you. You cannot give tzedakah. True or false?
False. You said you can get other people to give.
Wow, you ruined my lecture. It's not fair, ma. You're not supposed to tell. It's like someone who watch a movie and tell them what's happening now. No, don't worry, you won't die in the end. It's a fake. The bullets are not real. You ruined the show. I was just about to say it. The answer is false. Technically it's true, obviously. If you cannot give, you can't give. But you can make other give. When you convince someone that has to give, by him giving, it counts in Shamayim, you gave even more than him. Convince your uncle to sponsor a lecture, he sent $1,000. Count in Shamayim that you are the sponsor. He gets full reward for sponsoring. But you that gave him the idea and pushed him to do it, you get just as much and even more than him. Can you believe it? That means the poorest people in the world can donate millions of dollars every year. More than the rich. Imagine now, 20 years old, Bachur Yeshiva doesn't have $1 to his name. Driving his bike, sitting in the shul next to the Gvir, the owner of 20 buildings in Manhattan. This guy gave $2 million tzedakah this year, the Gvir. Sits with his tuxedo in a shul. Everyone looks at him in a VIP. The rabbi made him in a place next to him on the stage. Everyone looks. Every other word, the rabbi looks at him. Mr. X, we owe him so much. He made for us this extension in a shul. Hashem yevarech oto v'yishmereu v'ychayeu v'bnei mishpachto. Half an hour of Shabbat is just praising the Gvir. And then this Bachur Yeshiva sitting over there, he made other give 3 million this year. Nobody looks at him. Why do you want to sit in a shul? What do you mean what? I pray here. Come on, leave the seat for the people that help the shul. You stand in the back, you're young. Nobody gives him any credit except Hashem. Who gave more tzedakah in the eyes of God? That kid. Even though nothing came out of his pocket. By convincing others to give, he actually got bigger credit than the one who actually gave. What can be more beautiful than this? There's no discrimination. Even poor people can give tons of tzedakah. Why they don't do it? Because they're lazy. Some poor people, they know rich people. But I never talk to them once about helping Kiruv or helping a yeshiva or helping other poor people. They never. So Rabotai, the Rama explained the woman doesn't have to get killed. Especially in this case when she's going to save millions from death, there's no question of it. In Shulchan Aruch it's written, when a person sees that after a sin that he is going to do, I gave the Gaon Mivilna as an example that he was willing to go to hell not to lose a day of learning Torah. If the story really happened in reality. The question is, can we also follow that concept? I tell you a story. You know, there used to be a singer named Shlomo Karlibach. You heard about him or no? He was a rabbi, officially. And then he became, I think, a singer. He was singing in concert. He was more very popular. Most of the melodies that the Ashkenazim use today when they pray comes from him. He made it. A lot of the singing of Shabbat, he is the composer of the music. But he, close to the end of his life, when he was older already, he had the guitar, he was making concert, and a lot of the people who followed him used to be the hippies, the American hippies of the 70s, Woodstock. He was bringing them closer to Judaism and to Torah through the music, because music, it's a very spiritual thing. People come, they enjoy his music, he was a good singer. And through that, they're starting to show some connection to their Judaism, these American Jews. One time he was on a show, I heard it with my own ears. A Hasid from Borough Park called the show. He said to him, can I ask you a question? This is a show, live show. He say, yes. He say, who gave you permission to make such a chilul Hashem, to play music and women get up and dance in front of your eyes, and not only you don't stop the music and you let them continue to dance, you are holding their hands while they're dancing. Where in the world there is permission to do such thing? A woman is not your wife, you're touching her in public? Chilul Hashem. When the Torah allow to do such Chilul Hashem in public? The Chassid were attacking him. He said to the Chassid, I know it's not right, but through my music, I was able to bring a lot of Jews closer to the Torah. And that's the only reason I'm doing it. I don't really need to hold her hand. I take her on a date or something. She enjoyed the music, she got up, people get spiritual right now. He said to him, but where does it say in the Torah that you're allowed to break the rules of the Torah in order for you to bring another Jew closer? If a secular Jew will tell me, Rabbi, if you come to me to McDonald's and eat with me cheeseburger, I accept on myself from now on to be Shomer Shabbat. Am I allowed to do it? Big deal. One sin. Hashem knows my intention. I even don't like cheeseburger. This burger full of fat, mag'il, pork. I am disgusted by that. I'm going to suffer for every bite. Not that I desire it, but I'm willing to do it for this Jew to become Shomer Shabbat and save his Olam Haba, saving him from losing eternity. You may come and say, wow, it's a noble mitzvah. You sacrifice your spirituality for the sake of another Jew to save him from losing his eternity? What can be bigger pikuach nefesh than this? Right or wrong? It's a very logical argument. The answer, the Torah condemned it severely. No permission to even violate rabbinical law to save someone from being mechalel Shabbat. No permission. Gemara say, someone put dough into the oven to bake a cake. How long does it take for the cake to start baking from the top? A minute. After 1 minute, the first layer of the dough starting to become hard. Meaning if you scrape the top, you can eat it. Then it goes lower and lower and lower until the whole dough become a cake. 20 minutes, an hour, whatever it takes. So he puts it inside the oven. Remember, the ovens of those days were not like ours. It was a big hole with walls like the tabun. You know how they put the Iraqi pita on a tabun, they stick it? That's how it used to be. If they want to put it in a pan, they have to put it all the way on the charcoals. And the way to pull it out, they have a special stick with a hook. Like in a pizza shop, that it's all the way in, they cannot reach. Cannot put the head in the oven. So they have a special baker stick, they pull it out, and then with the gloves they take it out. This is how it used to be. But using that stick to take something out of the oven, it's a rabbinical restriction. Because you're not allowed to bake on Shabbat. Therefore, the Chachamim made a restriction that all the tools that are being used in a bakery are all muktzeh. You cannot use it. Why? Because they relate to a forbidden melacha of baking on Shabbat. So now the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat asks, what happened if your friend put the Mechalel Shabbat, someone you know, your friend, your cousin, he put the cake inside, and in 1 minute he will become Mechalel Shabbat. It's breaking Shabbat. In the first minute, it's not Mechalel Shabbat yet, because it's still a dough. It doesn't deserve to be eaten. But in a minute or two, a part of this dough will become an official cake. From that moment on, he's guilty of death penalty and a permanent cut for the soul. You want to save the life of that Jew from being Mechalel Shabbat, because you know Hashem is going to give him a death penalty one way or the other one day. So you want to use that stick of the bakers, it's called mardeh, and take the cake out. He left. He's going to come back in half an hour. And then he'll find out that someone took his cake out. You are doing him a favor. This fool wants to bake on Shabbat. But you knowing what's waiting for him, you want to take the cake out and save him from the death penalty. What could be more logical than this? It should have been an obligation of every Jew to quickly take the cake out. But because you cannot take the cake out with the hands, you need to use that stick. And the Chachamim made restriction that this stick is muktzeh, cannot move it on Shabbat. You're not allowed to take the cake out. He will die, he would lose his eternity, it's on him. I do not break rabbinical law to save you from the death penalty, from committing the worst sin of Torah of חילול שבת. אין אומרים לו לאדם חטא כדי שיזכה חברך. בשביל שיזכה חברך. You don't. If it would not be written in a Gemara, that would be mandatory. It wouldn't be even a question. No one would even think to ask a rabbi, Rabbi, I'm allowed to use that stick? That's why the Gemara came and told you, even though it's very logical, to break a rabbinical law, to save a Jew from being Mechalel Shabbat, you're not allowed. After we know that, now we have a question here. If a person knows, like in the case of Esther, if a person knows that he's about to commit a sin, no question about it, it's a sin, it's not allowed. But there will be salvation to the public from this sin. Someone's car. Here you go. טרם יקראו ואני אענה. You know what it means? Before you finish to ask me to remove the problem, I already answered. It's written, there's a verse. Before you called me, I already sent you the solution. Remember what I said before? Baruch gozer umkayem. Does a person allowed to do such thing or no? You're allowed to do such thing or no? Do you want to break a law now of the Torah? Once you're doing it, 500 people will be saved from lots of suffering, from pandemic, from who knows what. I'll give you an example. Is it allowed to steal? Not allowed to steal. Let's say someone has an antidote against some virus, that someone who already got the virus, if you give him that shot, immediately he gets cured in 2 hours. He gets up from the bed and he is not going to die. And that scientist refused to give it. Refused to give it. I'm sorry, I didn't get paid. It's worth millions. I have 500 here, each one of them worth $1,000. But there are 500 people who are about to die, 500 Jews, they're about to die. Give us the shots. I'm sorry. I'm not giving it to you. It's $500,000. You give him one punch to the face, knock him out, break the glass of his lab, steal the 500 shots, run with your friends, quickly give 500 shots to the people, and now you save 500 lives. Allowed or not allowed? Not only allowed, it's an obligation. Obligation, pikuach nefesh. What about the stealing? You broke the law of the Torah. You stole. Torah allowed to steal? Not allowed. This is an example of unique cases that you're going to break the law, but not for fun or for the pleasure of the sin. For only one reason, to save someone from death, from disaster, to save someone's marriage. For instance, to lie. It's a strict restriction to lie. The Torah is very allergic to liars. Hashem cannot stand liars. But Hashem himself changed the truth when he came to Abraham. Interesting. Hashem doesn't like to lie. Nobody is allowed to lie. מדבר שקר תרחק. לא תשקרו ולא תכחשו איש בעמיתו, it's written in the Torah. But when Sarah say, how I'm going to be pregnant? My husband is an old man. She's 90. He's 100. Problem is not by the man. Here you just saw Rabbi, 88 years old, just had a boy. Meaning, men that are very old can still bring kids to the world. The problem is by the ladies. Once they pass 50, 55, usually that's it. So the problem is by her, but who is she blaming? Avraham. What did she say? She say, Adoni Zaken, my master, meaning my husband, is old. How am I going to be pregnant? And Hashem came to Avraham and changed the whole story. What did he say? Why Sarah say that she's old? There's anything if I want that cannot happen? Why Hashem changed the story? To prevent a fight between a husband and wife. So you're not allowed to instigate, to break the peace in the family. That's only one case. What happened if we would create 500 bad cases of marriage? If you say the story online, 500 houses will have to get divorced. Obviously, you're not allowed. Do you understand the calculation? So that's the story of Esther. She say, well, if Hashem will punish me for what I'm doing, I'm willing to take that suffering. I have to save the Jewish nation from a Holocaust, whatever the price would be. And that's when I told you the story of Shlomo Karlibach, Rabbi Shlomo Karlibach, that when the Chassid called him and asked him, who gave you permission to make women dance with your guitar in front of your eyes, in front of the men, and you continue to play music, and you hold their hands, they reach their hands to you, and you shake their hands? So you know what was his answer? I got shocked, to be honest with you. I mean, it's been so many years, I never forget that story. You know what he answered him? He said to him, I know that I will have to be burned in hell for this. But to save a soul of a Jew, it's worth it for me. By now the Hasid was mute already. Hasid was aggressive. He has very good points. He attacked him correctly. But once a person say to you, you're right, I'm wicked, I did something terrible. You're right, you're 100% right, I'm not denying it. I'm not denying, I did it in front of the public. But knowing that what I did made 10, 20, 50, 100, 500 men and women interested in keeping Torah and mitzvot, coming to Shabbat dinners, starting to show interest in davening, singing my songs when it's all from the prayers and Tehillim, if I will go to hell for that, I'm willing to live with that. So it's a very fragile subject, and I'm sure that people that will hear this recording will have a lot to say. So just to make one thing clear, I'm not a posek halachot. I'm not telling you what's allowed, what's not allowed. We're talking here divrei Torah. Some agree, some disagree. I told you the words of the Rama. Rama is a very established chacham. It's not just another rabbi, right? It's the chief rabbi of the Ashkenazim in the last 500 years. He said, a woman doesn't have to get killed if she's going to be forced to have intimacy with someone she doesn't want. Especially if it's going to bring a huge to'elet larabim, meaning great salvation to the public. In Shulchan Aruch, the Jewish book of law, it's written, כאשר אדם רואה שבעקבות עבירה אחת שהוא יעשה תבוא ישועה לרבים, מותר לו לעשות זאת. שולחן ערוך. If a person see that what is the sin is about to commit will save the public, is allowed to do it. How is he allowed to do it? First, he has to ask his rabbi, the Chacham, Rabbi, this is the case. I have to do it now. For instance, I have to lie. I have to go to court, and they're going to ask me a question, and they make me swear under oath. You have to say the truth and nothing but the truth. If I will say the truth, 50 religious Jews will go to jail. Yes, they did something wrong. There's nothing to be proud of what they did. The question is, do they deserve to sit 10 years in a prison with all the monsters over there? Absolutely not. That's not the laws of God and not the laws of the Torah. So what's the right thing to do? Yes, I saw that they did it, and now they're going to destroy their family, all the kids in yeshivot. The mother has no tuition, the kids are off the derech. 150 people lost their religion and life of something that according to the Torah there's no punishment, such as inside trading. Someone told him, buy this stock. Next week it will become 10 times higher. How do you know? My father is an analyst, he told me. My friend, take all the money you have and buy this stock. Why? It's now 20, next week it will be 200. You serious? Yeah, how much money you have? I have $1 million. Run buy stocks from this company. And wait a week. Look, a week later, you bought, with $1 million you bought 50,000 shares, $20 each. You came in the morning, you turn on your computer, the 1 million became 10 million. 3 days later, open please. What? FBI. They have computer software. They look at suspicious transaction. Nobody ever bought $1 million on this lousy company. The entire week they don't sell $1 million stocks. All of a sudden, one guy out of nowhere, they check his record. He never put $1 million on a stock. Maximum he buys 10,000, 15,000. Pop! Transaction, $1 million, and right away, before the news came out, they know right away. They get a warrant, they check his emails, they check his text. When the FBI knock on your door, usually you're a dead man. It's not like in Israel. When the Israeli Shabak knock on your door, they will already find what to blame you with. Don't worry. Even if you prove that you're not guilty on that, their ego will not let them release you, especially if you're religious. They'll find other things, don't worry. They'll find one to do. Here, you know what's different when the police knock on your door and the FBI knock on your door? Someone once explained it to me. So when the police knock on the door, that means someone complained about you. The police had no idea if you're guilty or not. They have to arrest you and start an investigation. Once you are arrested, they get a warrant, they go, they check your computer, they check your house, they check your emails, and then they decide if to press charges or not. At the moment they arrest you, it's only a suspicion. When the FBI knock on your door, it's a done case already. They already accumulate years of information, recorded conversation, they took pictures of you meeting people. They don't knock based on a suspicion. When they knock, you're a dead man, there's no way for you to come out. They don't rush to arrest you. They wait until they know 1,000,000% that that's it. You're done. And then they offer you a plea. Give us 20 other names, and instead of going to prison for 20 years, you will serve only 2 years. You have to be a big tzaddik not to turn other people in. It's against the Torah, it's Moser. שלא נעמוד בניסיון הזה, that's all I can tell you. You never have this kind of test in your life. Some people were religious, acceptable in a community. When the FBI got them, they flip on others. Not only that, one of them was trying to frame an important rabbi from Israel, a very important one, while he was wired, trying to record him, that he should get arrested before he goes to Israel. But that rabbi was clever. He smelled that something is fishy from the conversation. Why? He wanted to get few years less in prison. So he's willing to send a holy man to prison for no guilt, just that he will give them someone else also to put in jail. This is very ugly, this world. So, Rabotai, Esther now is making a party. And who comes? The main Nazi, Haman. How many kids Haman has? 208. 208, more than Bin Laden. Double. But Bin Laden have 20 wives. Every one of them contributed 10, 11. Also Haman, he have many wives. It was in style to have many wives in those days. So why only 10 of them were hung on a tree? Because they were activists against the Jews. The other one were passive. They were Nazis, but they didn't do anything actively to get the Jews into trouble. The 10 sons were making problems everywhere. Speeches, political activity. Kill the Jews, it's the Jews' fault. The Jews destroy the economy. The Jews, everywhere they go. You know, like Al Sharpton and his friends. This kind, Bernie Sanders, Ymach Shimo. That's why they were hung on a tree. The other ones, they didn't touch them. Later on, they got permission to take revenge against all the Nazis. But for the time being, they didn't touch them. Esther making a party. Remember, this is all planned here. Esther needs to make a party for the Goyim to come get drunk. See, there is all divine plan here. She's giving a speech to the audience. That's another scene. A woman not supposed to give speeches to the men. Religious woman. But she gives a speech to all the Goyim there. Yesh ish tsar oyev. There is an evil man here. An enemy that wants to kill my nation. Remember, no one knows her nation yet. She's a mystery. 5 years she's in the palace. Now one person told that she's Jewish. No one betrayed her. There was no lefty liberals then. לא היו שמאלנים. טוב. He wants to kill my nation. And then what? Well, just when she gives the speech and Achashverosh is in shock, what happened next? They ask her, who? This, Haman, Ish, Tsar, Oyev, this enemy. What? He wants to kill my wife and her nation? Achashverosh went crazy. Remember, he's his best friend. Everything turned in a second. And just when Esther pointed Haman, Hashem gave him a smack. And what happened? He fell on Esther's bed. Her bed. The bed of the queen. Haman is like this in her bed. And Hashem drove him crazy, the Achashverosh. Ma? You enter my wife's bed? Forget it. You know, imagine, try the Arab sheikh in Saudi Arabia. Go lay in his wife's bed for 1 minute, see what will happen to you. No one will even know about it. Before they'll find out, you'll be already hanged somewhere. Why they hung him? Don't ask questions. He hurt the king's ego. Remember, Achashverosh is in control of 127 countries, from Odu ad Kush, from India to Africa. How many miles is from India and Africa, Benji?
I sent it to you already.
10,000? How many? 10,000 miles?
9,000 kilometers.
9,000 kilometers, 6,000 miles of countries and islands. He controlled. In a day, there were no airplanes, no car, no trains, only horses and donkeys. Do you know what it means to occupy 127 countries? Everybody pays you taxes? Huh? Think about it. Think about the ego. And he falls on your wife's bed. Achashverosh saw that. And just when it happens, who shows up? Charbona, one of the workers in the palace. Charbona, the guy. He shows up, he said, by the way, Your Majesty, not only wants to kill all the Jews, not only is laying in your wife's bed, he also built a tree. 50 amot, 25 meters, 75 feet. 75 feet. From bottom to the ceiling, how many feet we have? What is it, 10? 10 feet? So that means almost 7 floors, right? If every floor is 10 feet, that's 7 floors. Huge tree. Why you need such a big tree? 10, 15 feet is not enough to hang someone? You hang him, you push the chair and he's hung. No, he wants the whole city to see them. He puts it in a high place, and the tree is so high, like the Muslim make that pole in the mosque, that for no matter where you are in town, you're going to see the mosque. Where the Muslim learned it? From the Jews. It's written in Shulchan Aruch that the synagogue have to be the highest in town. Do we follow these laws today? No. Here, this synagogue. They are right here in Coney Island Avenue, bigger buildings. Why? In the old days, it was realistic to do it like this. But the way construction has changed with the years, it's impossible. Also, anus. There's no way to make sure that the synagogue is the highest. Why? Because they build now buildings that are 50 flights. What are you going to do? You make the shul on the moon? Where are you going to stick the shul? How people is going to go now? Every time they want to go pray, they have to climb 50 floors up? Shabbos elevator. So, when I was in Istanbul, you know, Istanbul is divided to 2 continents, Asia and Europe. I gave 2 lectures in 2 continents in the same day. In one day I gave a lecture in Asia, and a few hours later in Europe. Across the bridge, Istanbul. When I came to the shul, that shul was back in the news that the terrorists over there attacked that shul. They threw bombs in the yard of the shul and killed few people there. There is a sign there for that terror attack. And the Jews over there in Istanbul, they closed the backyard with a ceiling made from thick glass, very thick glass, maybe 10 inches thick, anti-bomb, you know, like in the banks that if you shoot, it cannot penetrate the glass. They made a very expensive glass. In the entire yard of the synagogue is covered with this glass. But guess what? There are few very, very tall trees. They made a circle in the ceiling, special circle, and the tree goes out of the ceiling. Another 20, 30 meter high. Very, very high trees. I asked the Turkish guy, the Jew, I told him I don't understand the logic here. Why did you go through all this headache to make holes in the ceiling to let these lousy trees go all the way up? Wouldn't it be just easier to get rid of these trees? He told me, you crazy? You're going to get the death penalty here if you cut one of these trees. I said, what? These trees are hundreds of years old. If you cut one of them, you know the Turks would kill you. That's their pride, these trees. We had no choice. We had to build around it. That's when I realized the tree that Haman made for Mordechai. Right there in front of my eyes, 75 feet. Trees like this. He put a tree like this, and now he wants to hang Mordechai there, that the whole, and Charbona shows up in perfect timing to the room. By the way, Your Majesty, not only wants to kill all the Jews, not only is occupying your wife's bed, he already made a tree to hang the chief rabbi of the Jews. The one that saved your life back then. Remember, 2 people wanted to poison you? He is the one who came to warn you. He wants to hang the chief rabbi? Take him quickly and hang him. In 1 second, everything turned 180 degrees. But I skipped a little bit. Let's go back. Now we have a question. Can King Ahasuerus judge Haman? according to the laws of Persia or no?
He's a dictator.
The problem is that they had a law in Persia, which is a decent law, that if the matter in a court relates to you personally, you cannot be the judge in that case. You have to disqualify yourself. So the king wants to kill Haman for falling on his wife's bed, which is a very big crime and embarrassment to the king. So technically, if you take him to a different judge, it will be death penalty. But how can Ahasuerus judge someone that came to his wife's bed? It's not objective.
The law was changed when Vashti was killed.
The law was changed. By whom? By Haman. Haman was the one who pushed a new order. When Ahasuerus wanted to kill Vashti, Haman was the one who told him, you must do it. The rabbis didn't want to get involved. They knew, oy lim omar, oy lim lo omar. Ahasuerus said, but how can I kill her? She's my wife. I cannot judge her. I have to send her to the court. He said, now it's the time to change the law. You have the power to change the laws? Yes. You're not allowed right now to judge her. Let's all vote, change the law, and a minute later you judge her. Same Haman, who actually convinced him to get rid of Vashti by making the king able to judge even cases that relates to him. The king is above the law. Why did he do it? Because he wanted his daughter to be the wife of Ahasuerus. And how are you going to get rid of Vashti? She's a granddaughter of Nebuchadnezzar. She comes from a very important family and she's the prettiest woman in the world. Haman's wife is no competition to Vashti. He saw an opportunity like all the dirty politicians. The truth has nothing to do with them. It's only opportunities. That's very good for me. The whole country will suffer. Who cares about the country? It's all for me. Right away, what did they do? You must get rid of Vashti. Women will disrespect their husband. You're right. Okay, I'm sentencing her to death. Look at my daughter. She's also very rich, pretty. She's going to be very good wife. That was the whole plan. That law that he did because he wanted to become one day the ruler of the 127 countries, because once his daughter will be the queen, the son that will be born will be the king. With this connection and his money, he will run him to be the king. Ahasuerus has other kids. Count on Haman that he will already have the lobby in Washington to help his son to get elected right away. So you see what's going on here? What you cook, one day you'll be forced to eat. That's what life is all about. Everything you prepare United States, they train Al-Qaeda against Russia. They took Bin Laden, gave him money, sent CIA to train him, to make a little army, to have guerrilla war against the Russians, to make the Russians to attack them in Afghanistan, attack them. And what happened? Whatever they prepared for Russia, turn around into their own heart. I give you hundreds of cases like this. United States were angry at the Iranian Shah because of the oil prices. He did not surrender to their pressure. They told him, don't mess with us. We're going to bring Khomeini from France. We're going to make a revolution here. You know our power. The Shah didn't surrender. They brought Khomeini from Iran. 40-something years, destroyed the whole world. Why? Because the Shah did not bow down to them. It's unbelievable what's happening in this world. You're going to do one thing and you destroy it 100 times worse later on. Why? They don't have Torah. The Torah says, "U'achacham aroe et hanolad." A real clever person always sees 20 steps ahead. This will lead to this and this would lead to this. That's why you need to consult with rabbis. Why? You may be a very smart person yourself. You may even have life experience. But the rabbi has few things that you may not have. First, he has experience. He deals with the public all the time. He hears from people. He develops connection to the right people that can help. Plus, he has the siyata dishmaya, holiness, Torah, constantly helping people. He has special siyata dishmaya from Hashem. When you come to him, he will give you an advice that can save your life and your children's life. The problem is the ego. That people, I don't ask. Just today I had a case like this. The holy rabbi next to my house, there's a woman there that is about to lose her house in Israel, and very, very cruel over there. They take away your house, they leave nothing. With lawyers and penalties, they'll eat basically all the money you own in a house, they'll leave you with nothing. Zero mercy. Big reshaim over there, all the lawyers and all the judges and the terrible what they do to miserable people. They own 99% of the house, they have a little debt to Israeli bank. By the way, the judge is in the pocket, the judge sign, הוצאה לפועל, they knock on your door, they break everything, they take everything. 2 months later, you lost everything you have. They put it in the auction, they sell it, 100,000 to this lawyer, 20,000 to this, הוצאה לפועל take their share, the lawyers, the penalty, the interest. In the end, you're left with nothing. She's about to lose the house. I told her, listen, I found you a buyer. I have someone who's willing to come buy the house quickly and pay them their debt. Do not let the house go to their hands. Once they grab it, Hashem Yerachem, you lose everything. That's all they have. Poor couple. But the woman did not surrender. She had such emunah. I say to myself, I wonder if it's emunah or stupidity. Sometimes there's almost no difference between emunah and stupidity. She was devoted. She's not giving up. I'm counting on Hashem. It's not going to make us lose the only things we have. Unbelievable. So she went to that holy rabbi. There's a rabbi in my neighborhood. He's one of the best Ashkenazi rabbis in America. People walk an hour in the heat with their shtreimel to listen to him on Shabbos. Hundreds of people. Big holy tzaddik. Right away, he connected her with a rabbi in Israel. Such a big shot. I spoke to him today on the phone. That rabbi has all the Israeli banks in his pocket. Can you believe that? They're already grabbing her house. They're taking away the house. They're already in the process. Any day she's going to get a notice that they changed the lock. That rabbi called the bank, stopped everything in one phone call, cut half of the debt, and told me, Mizrachi, you make sure that half of the money is transferred to this bank account and leave me the rest. I do it for more than 20 years. If she would not go to that rabbi, there's no chance whatsoever she would lose a house that worth $400,000-$500,000. Nothing would be left for $20,000 debt. She would lose it. So this is just one out of thousands of examples that sometimes you come to ask a question, the rabbi hear about it, and the rabbi already has a connection that may help the case. It happens all the time. You know, there was one Rosh Yeshiva in Bnei Brak. He came to Rav Chaim Kanievsky. He told him, Rabbi, I need a bracha. I must get $50,000 urgent. I have 2 weeks. If not, I go bankrupt. My yeshiva is bankrupt. I'm going for the first time to America. I don't even know how to speak English. I don't know addresses. I don't know which, I don't know anything. I'm going there with emunah that Hashem will direct me to collect $50,000. Rav Chaim Kanievsky gave him a bracha and he went to America. The poor guy, 3 weeks is here, did not even collect to cover his airfare. Doesn't speak English, doesn't know people. First time here. Go here, come to the shul, collect dollar, people give him $1, $2, $5. Doesn't know what to do anymore. So, okay, I guess Hashem doesn't want the yeshiva to survive. What can I do? I tried my best. 3 weeks, I left my wife, children, the yeshiva. He goes back to Israel. He has 10 days left to shut the door. And he doesn't have the heart to tell all the avrechim that in 10 days they're not going to get their monthly salary. He has to shut the door. He's breaking his head. Then someone came, Rabbi, you have an envelope where from Rav Chaim Kanievsky. He said to come give it to you. He opened the envelope, a check for $50,000. מה זה? He ran quickly to Rav Chaim Kanievsky. Rabbi, I was by you 3 weeks ago. You told me to go to America. And what is this check? He said to him, one Jew made a big real estate deal in Australia. He came today to me and he told me, Rabbi, this is my maaser from the deal. Meaning $500,000, $50,000, it's because he made $500,000 commission on that deal. He told me, Rabbi, you do whatever you think is right with that. And I remember that you came to me about your yeshiva. So I want to give you this money. I know you need it. He said to him, unbelievable, you just saved my yeshiva, but can I ask you a question? You told me good luck to go to America. And the salvation came 2 blocks away from my home. I went to America like a dog. I slept in mattresses, in places, in motels, in people's homes. I got so much embarrassment, waited for people outside the door in the freezing weather. In the end, I barely collected for the car and for the airfare. I didn't bring $1 here back. And then in the end, Hashem sent me the salvation from across the street. Good question, no? What do you think the answer to this would be? Rav Chaim Kanievsky told him a lesson in life. He told him, you're not getting the point right. The only reason that this guy came to me to give me this 50,000, knowing that I know about your problem, and the last thing I want is yeshiva to close down, knowing I'm going to give, it's mishamayim, that I'm going to call you and give you this check, the only reason that it happened is because you went to America and suffered for 3 weeks. And you show Hashem how much you're willing to suffer without your wife and your children and your learning and getting humiliated and getting embarrassed, and you're such a holy big chacham. People treat you like garbage, like some kind of a driver, like a mailman, wait outside. My husband is going to come in 2 hours, go, come back, treat you like a dog, like they do to the collectors here. After Hashem saw what you're willing to go through to continue to support Torah, He sent you the salvation. It's not me, not this guy, nothing. You had to get it. But Hashem wanted to show you that if you think that the salvation will come from America, it doesn't have to. It will come from where He wants, not from where you want. You do ishtadlut here, and your salvation comes from there. Do you know how many times a girl dated a guy? She didn't like him. After 10 minutes in a date, she knew it's not for him. So she said to the shotchan, I'm not interested. But I have a friend that may be good for him. This whole date was for that shidduch. But how would you get it? Nobody knows about you and her. So you have to get a middleman. So Hashem made you a false date to this girl, which is b'chalal not shayach. The girl said, why are they giving me this guy? It's not for me, it's not what I want. But it's perfect for my friend. You understand what's happening here? That's why I always tell people, no matter what decent shidduch they offer you, even you didn't want Sfaradi, you didn't want Ashkenazi, you wanted this, you wanted that kind of Hasid, and not, go and try, you don't know Hashem's plans. What did you lose? An hour of your time? 1 time, 2, 10, 20, 50 times you went. In the end, in the 51st time, it's going to happen. It's worth it. Plus the suffering, the frustration of another bad date, and another one makes the final original date closer. The more you suffer, the more mercy they have on you in Shamayim, especially when you don't complain. So Rabotai, Haman saw that his end is coming. Vayar Haman ki kalta elav hara'a. What does it mean? Ki kalta elav hara'a mean his end arrived. Ki, finish with Yud. Kalta, finish